Hey everyone, welcome back to part 2 of the Captain America vs. Red Skull model painting project. I've got all the blue colors laid down and sealed with a matte varnish, and I've masked off the areas where I want to protect the blue, and I've moved on to the base coating of the red parts. I start off here with Minitaire Innards. It's a very deep, almost like red gore color, and you can see here I'm doing the boots and the gloves. The midsection that has the stripes, the red and white stripes, I'm going to be doing those by hand. You can see here I'm laying down the base coat nice and even, and it has a little bit of a gloss sheen to it. Moving on to the first highlight color, I'm using Minitaire Nebula Red, and I'm just hitting the highlights on the upper parts, so the light's coming from above. And this color took a little work to make it visible over the dark red, so I layered it on slowly so it would come through, and you can see the color shift. Okay, right about now I'm going to start with the second highlight on the boots and the gloves using Minitaire Angelic Blood. It's a much brighter red. As you can see there, I did the first glove first as a test, and then I'm going in and hitting more of the edges of the gloves and the high spots. And you see actually the angelic blood really makes the red of the gloves pop. Okay, I'm starting in with the midsection. I'm using Vallejo Game Color Heavy Blue Gray, and that's going to be my base color for both the white and the red. I'm going to be laying this down a little watered down, thinned out actually, and as you can see it goes on very nice and rich and opaque. These are actually one of the heavy opaque line from Vallejo Game Color, and that's what it's designed for, to go on nice and opaque as a base coat. But I'm actually putting it down a little thinned out, so I am waiting for the coats to dry in between as I go around. I circle back, and once an area is dry, I hit it with a second coat. So I'm actually going to apply 2 to 3 thin coats of the base of heavy blue gray along the waist. I'm also using the heavy blue gray as the base color, basically for all the whites, but also as the base color for the star on his chest. I'm being very careful to try to stay within the modeled lines of the star. Okay, now I'm starting to block in the skin colors using Vallejo Game Color Heavy SkinTone, another heavy opaque color, and again slightly thinned out using my Fluid thinning mixture. And I'm just going to block that out and do it in multiple thin layers. Once that's done, I'm going to actually come back and, after it's dry, hit it with an Ogre Flesh wash from Games Workshop. I've taken some Game Color Skull White and thinned it out and applied it over the heavy blue-gray to make the stripes on the midsection and also to color in the star. Try to be very careful here. And again, this will go on in multiple coats to keep it nice and thin. And also right around this point, I decided to put a gloss coat on the red parts, the gloves and the boots, because the paint started to chip. Okay, unfortunately, I forgot to record the part where I paint the red in. And as you can see, I used two colors for the red stripes. Mephiston Red from Games Workshop, and then I shaded it using Hull T Red from Vallejo Model Air. I also shaded the white parts with I forget the name, but one of the darker grays of the Minitaire line. And now I'm going in with a slightly lighter color of the heavy flesh tone over the Ogre Flesh washed face, and I'm using it to pick out details and define the colors of the face. I'm building up various shades of flesh tone for the skin. Started out with a little bit of bleached bone and added a touch of skull white to that mix to do include the highlights. Okay, now I'm painting in the teeth and the eyes using Skull White and a 0 Winsor Newton Series 7 sable brush. Once the white of the eye sockets is dry, I go in with a 000 sable Series 7 and some Chaos Black paint to put in the pupils. And it's always handy to, I don't know, I do the right, is the right? No, I do the left eye first, and then I do the right eye, and I usually flip it upside down to try to get them even. I'm going to use this same Chaos Black and thin it out a little bit, and you'll see here I'm going to do the outlines of the mask and the outlines of this, both the star and the stripes on the midsection. So I keep the paint nice and thin to do the lining along the stripes, and this is actually pretty easy because those lines are actually modeled in. So I'm using the capillary action of the paint just to let the paint flow into the grooves. Very easy to do here. I'm also going to use this same mix of black to paint the belt. And with the belt done, we're closing in towards almost completing this first part of the kit. Come on back for the last video, the final details. See you soon.